Greetings and salutations, everybody. This is Swedish Jeff 2024, and I wanted to come online briefly this evening and tell you about a video that I saw earlier today. It was a memoriam video talking about baseball players who recently have passed away in the last year. And the person that uploaded the video had all these baseball cards of players from the past, and they had their pictures on the screen, and they were in alphabetical order. And I was absolutely shocked and stunned to learn that so many former major league players had passed away in just the last year. And it was a pretty moving video to watch. And I remember a couple of the comments had said, this is very sad, but now they've gone on to the ultimate field of dreams. And it got me thinking about playing cards and dice. And I think that you could say this to an extent about the computer games here. But one of the many joys that I get out of playing cards and dice, whether it's the baseball game or the football game, and right now I'm currently playing APBA, is that these Major League Baseball players get to live and breathe again. And playing the 81 season from scratch, starting from game 1 all the way to 162, which is a huge endeavor, but it's a labor of love, but it is an absolute joy to do. But it's given me the chance to watch these guys live and breathe and play again. And some of them, many of them, I really either don't remember very well, or I have a faint memory of them playing, and I may have had a baseball card or watched them on TV, but now I am getting to know them. And it's not like I don't expect Biff Pocoroba to show up on my porch, and hitting me ground balls or somebody like that. As wonderful as that would be, that kind of thing happens in books and movies, but rarely, I don't think, happens in real life. But it is still a pure joy to be able to roll the dice and watch these guys play. And sadly, a lot of them have passed on. And, Tom Seaver, I was just playing a game with him the other day. And in my opinion here, in my lifetime, Tom Seaver is the best pitcher that I ever saw. I think he is the best pitcher from that era. And if you look up the word pitcher in a dictionary, if it doesn't have a picture of Tom Seaver, there's something wrong. The man could do it all. He could do it all. And it's just so great to be able to play these games and to watch these guys go to work, or should I say go to play, and to relive these moments and to see them on the field again. It's all in my head, it's on paper. It's not on a screen, and there's not a bunch of graphics, and you don't get to download a bunch of mods and all that stuff. And that's fine. I'm not anti-PC games. I'm not anti-computer games. And I'll never have that attitude of, well, computer games suck and cards and dice is the only way to go. I don't agree with that. By the same token, I'm also not going to say that, well, computer games are the way to go and cards and dice games, nobody cares about that, or that's old, or whatever, In my opinion, greatness does not have an expiration date. Great music is great music, and I'll give you an example here. Remember the movie Wayne's World? Of course. No, I don't remember Wayne's World. Remember when Wayne's World came out in 1990? I remember it came out around the spring of 1992. And Wayne's World was a very popular sketch on Saturday Night Live, and of course there were many sketches of that. And now they were making a big screen adaptation of it. But there was a song from that movie called Bohemian Rhapsody, which had been released in 1977, which was 15 years earlier. And that song got re-released again as a single. And they even made a new music video where they had parts from the original music video from 1975, and then they added in clips from the movie, Wayne's World. But it was a hit all over again. And young people, like myself, for example, I was young back then. I know it's hard to believe, but it's true. I was 20 years old when that came out. And teenagers were going, wow, man, that song is great. Have you heard that song? Who may not have listened to Queen before, or may not have listened to Bohemian Rhapsody, but now they were banging their heads, dan, 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 dan. Hopefully I don't get demonetized for that. Just kidding. But my point here is that it was on the radio, on the top 40 radio stations it was on. And it was on MTV. Yes, back when MTV played music videos. And it was so great to be able to see the joy and happiness that this song brought to people, something from 1977, which was old, you know. Nobody listens to that music anymore. Well, evidently they do, and they did, and they're still listening to it. And my point here is that greatness does not have an expiration date. APBA, Stratomatic, Replay Games, Status Pro, Dynasty League, Pursue the Pennant, insert name, any classic board game. Monopoly, I mean, it's not a non-sports game. If it's great, it'll last. And that is the test of time. I know we live in a different world now where everything is much faster and we have people doing this, you know, on their phones. But I truly believe that APBA, Stratomatic, if you get young people, especially at a young age, and you show them, you teach them, they're quick, they'll figure it out. If they love the games, if they love the game of baseball, football, hockey, basketball, basketball is not for APBA, but on Stratomatic, that is 90% of it right there is, do you love the game? If you love the game, that's 90% of the battle right there. And then it's just learning how it works. And if you love the game, and you have that passion, and that's a key, passion. If you have the passion, then you're going to view it as a labor of love, and you're going to be happy to be learning. And yes, you'll make mistakes along the way. But as a wise man once told me many years ago, if nobody made mistakes, they wouldn't have erasers on pencils. I guess the modern equivalent would be that if nobody made mistakes, there wouldn't be a backspace key, you know. But these games stand the test of time because they are great. And there is something about cards and dice that I don't think that I even realized it until maybe a month or two ago. I always enjoyed it. I always enjoyed playing the cards and dice games, as I've enjoyed playing games on the computer. But it didn't really hit me until recently, the magic of cards and dice. And, you know, I'm not trying to be like, woo, you know, or anything like that, but there is this mystique, I won't say aura, but there is this spiritual equivalent here to these games where these players get to play again. They get to live and breathe again on our boards. And that's one of the reasons why I created Behind the Card, is I wanted to feature baseball and football players from the 81 season who aren't Hall of Famers, because let's face it, the Hall of Famers are going to get their notoriety and they've had their documentaries, as well deserved. But I want to give the spotlight, put the spotlight on the guys that are not Hall of Famers, that don't get that attention. And I hope I've done a good job at that. because I really want them to get their due. But, just earlier today, I was playing the Texas Rangers from '81, the Rangers and the Yankees, and the Texas Rangers are just incredible. They are 7-1 after 8 games, and if you'll recall, those of you who remember the '81 season, the Oakland A's were the team getting the big front pages back then. Started out 12-0, and they had that great pitching staff, Billy Martin and all that. But here, it could be the Texas Rangers. And wouldn't that be a heck of a story to see somebody else, a new team, some fresh face or fresh faces? And by the way, they are managed by Don Zimmer, who is one of my favorite managers of all time. God bless him. But he is truly one of my favorite managers. And, 7-1, I mean, they could lose 4 in a row and then, okay, well, I guess they're not that great. But their pitching has really been phenomenal. That is their key. And they got an excellent defense. So look out for Texas. Don't sweat on Texas. They're really good, and wouldn't it be funny to see the Astros and the Rangers in the World Series, have the Texas World Series? No garbage cans in this one. Sorry, Astros fans. Sorry about that. But Houston's got a heck of a team too, and they were so close to 1980, so close, and what an exciting team. So getting back to the Field of Dreams here. This is the real Field of Dreams, not in my living room, of course, but on the boards, this, let me show you right here. This is the real Field of Dreams right here. And if I had the football field, I would grab it, but I'm being lazy at the moment, so I'm not going to get up and do that. But getting to replay these games and to learn and to educate. I mean, I'm educating myself here. And I want to stress here, this is not about living in the past. It's about honoring the past. There is a difference between that. And I hope that what I'm doing is honoring the past here. And I believe that is something that all of us who play these games and we derive such joy and pleasure from, is that we are honoring the past. And for whatever reason that it is, and why I chose '81 is because there's a lot of mystery to that season. What would have happened if there had not been a strike? And the same thing with '94. What if the strike had not ended the season? Well, here, what if the strike had not interrupted the season? Along the way, I get to rediscover a lot of these teams and these players. Many of them I was aware of, and some of them I'm learning about now. And as a bonus, I am learning how to manage and how these guys managed back then, how they used their bullpens. Not like today, where guys come in for 1 inning and, everything is so specialized now. But relief pitchers would go 3 innings sometimes, 2-3 innings. And when they got a save, that was an earned save. It wasn't wham, bam, thank you, man, 1, 2, 3, it's over with. They earned that one. And how managers manage their roster. We have a lot more batters on the roster back then. It was 25 players on a roster. They might have 15 batters or 16 and may have 9 or 10 pitchers. That's how it was back then. And to see pitchers go 9 innings. And I've had 2 no-hitters in this game by guys named Steve McCaddy. There's my thumb. Steve McCaddy and Steve Carlton. So evidently guys named Steve, Appa likes to pitch no-hitters. So Steve Stone, I'm waiting for you. Steve Stone, and who else is out there? I'll have to think of another Steve. At the moment, my mind is just blank. But this is the real field of dreams here. We get to do something. I said this a while back. I said that, this is a chance to go back in time. And I meant that. But it is also a chance to honor these men and to give them, basically, we are giving them new life here. And I know this might sound hokey, and I apologize, but when I'm playing these games, I'll sometimes think, I'll say, I wonder if those guys are looking down on us and saying, hey, thanks for remembering me. Thanks for thinking of me. I'm sure they have family and friends that think of them. And because these guys were not just baseball players, they were husbands, they were fathers, they were brothers, they were friends, they were teammates. And when I play these games, not just the baseball game, but the football game too, is I wonder if they're looking down and saying, hey, make sure I look good. Like Billy Martin, I can just imagine Billy Martin saying, I never would have done that. What are you doing? Or why didn't you let Fred Stanley stay in the game or whatever, And I have these kind of imaginary conversations, going on, and I can imagine what they're thinking. So when I play these games, it's not about me. It's about them. And when I manage here, I really try to do it as Whitey Herzog or Sparky Anderson or Billy Martin, Earl Weaver, and some National League guys too. Okay, I'm not going to leave the National League managers out. Chuck Tanner, Dallas Green, Tommy Lasorda, all these guys here. Oh, Whitey Herzog was a National League manager. I was thinking he was with the Royals. Forgive me. But anyway, when I manage, I really try to honor them. And I try to think, well, what would they do in this situation? Yes, I have the box scores, and thankfully, I'm very grateful to have that information from Retro Sheet and Baseball Reference. I can go back to refer to that. But also, I try to look at the stats of the season and from memory. And I'll watch those games too. I watch a lot of those old games from '81, not just the baseball games, but the football games, and to get a feel of how those managers would do and how those coaches would do. And that's really why I'm doing this, is to pay respect to those men. And a lot of them are still living. I don't know if they'll ever see this, but if you're watching, I hope I'm doing justice. And that's what I'm all about here, is paying respect, because I respect the game. And I respect the players, and I respect all of you that are out there doing this. And I just want to say thank you all very much for watching. And please feel free to leave your comments, suggestions, feedback. Just go a little nice on me. I know my hair is, I'm having a bad hair day, but every day is a bad hair day for me. But from the bottom of my heart here, and I mean this sincerely, I really appreciate all the followers, all the comments, suggestions, and the likes, the loves. I really appreciate you. Thank you for coming by, everybody. Have a great week. I know tomorrow's Monday, but don't let it get you down. Take care.